How about that intro?
It was electric.
Chicago Hockey Radio post-game show.
Jeez, give it a cough.
I missed it. Sorry, I was asleep there. My bad.
Justin fell asleep.
CHR Postgame show. Hawks lose 3-2 in a shootout to the Colorado Avalanche. Justin Lynch, Lee Grassman, and Tassos Kirkos. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Please, please, please tell a friend about this show. Tell your friend and tell a friend. Follow us on Instagram at Chicago Hockey Radio and leave a 5-star rating and review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
If it wasn't after midnight, I would have been so on my feet for that intro that Raven made. But
Nice job, Raven. I didn't see it yet, but I will go back and watch it. I'm sure you cooked in it because Raven always cooks. He's the magic man there, behind the scenes there when it comes to editing and everything. You don't always see him, but he's there. He's putting in the work. So appreciate Raven Gasser, the gas man.
the GOAT himself.
Hawks lose. Thanks to everybody that tuned into the stream as well. That was fun. That was always a good time. But you know.
Nice job by you two. It's a fun game to cover for sure. And well, unfortunately, not the ending we were looking for there.
No, it was not. They were winning 2-0 for a lot of that game. I know we were talking in chat. Some people jinxed a little bit. May or may not be their fault. It's fine. I don't know. There was that thing in the back of my head the whole time. I was just like, we're gonna find a way to lose this.
It never felt
3-2.
safe, did it?
No,
it never felt safe.
Never.
Yep. They do say the 2-goal lead is most dangerous in hockey, especially for the Chicago Blackhawks team. That whole third period is just kind of on edge there. It's like just waiting for them to break through, and it did. Of course, there was Cale Makar, too. I mean, who else? I feel like he always owns us, that guy. I always remember that Spinorama movie made on Kirby Doc back in the day in overtime 3 years ago. We still see in highlight reel montages to this day, and Kirby Doc was never the same after that. And then Marty Necas, who went through a lot this game, ties it up with, what was it? I don't even know how much time was left. It was barely anything. I think it was, I don't even know if it was 10 seconds, man. Like the last face off the game. 8 seconds. So at 88, ties it up with 8 seconds left. Sounds about right. And yeah, and then we know how shootouts go with this team. It was a fun overtime. Shame that then in a shootout. But not a big fan of shootouts in the Big 25, but they still exist for some reason. Yeah.
Can we do a little talk about they got the power play with like 4 minutes left?
Gotta bury the game.
And it's not even just like you got to bury the game. You got to try to bury the game. It just felt very hesitant. They were more worried, exactly, passive, more worried about losing than they were trying to win the game. And so when you lose, it's just so easy to look back on that and be like, what the hell are you doing? Like, I don't know. They played the whole power play with 2 defensemen. The power play was awful all night. So I guess
the power play lost us the game tonight. Like literally, I do think the power play, not just that one. There was a power play we got late in the second period. We're up 2-0. I was thinking about it. I was like, if we could score on this power play, we could potentially put the game away. Obviously, a 3-goal lead against the Avs going to the third period. It's not safe, but you feel pretty good about it. You don't feel good about a 2-goal lead. They weren't able to score that power play. I'm like, that's going to come back to bite us. And it did. And they had yet another opportunity in the power play to seal the game up 2-1. And they did it. Empty netter as well, which we don't score empty net goals. This team doesn't do it. Got to have that clutch. Got to finish this game. Like, I want to be positive. I think we still should be positive because there are a lot of good things taken away from this game. But it's like, this is one where it's like the end result means too much in this one. Like, you got to win this one. It's just, it sucks. The Avalanche are a good team, but it's like to put up that type of effort for most of the game and then just to sit back. Like, we've seen it too many times, man. It's frustrating.
I hate it. I hate watching the team sit back with just a few minutes left when they've got like a 1-goal lead.
Especially we're such a young team.
Yeah, it's so frustrating. It's like, go after it. Like if you, it would sting less. It really would sting less if you're like trying to go for the kill and then you mess up and then they score. Yeah. It's like, at least you tried, at least you're trying to put teams away. It's just like you sat back, you invited them to attack you, and they obliged and they scored with just a few seconds left. It's so frustrating. The power play was awful all night. And I know we've harped on the zone entry thing a lot extensively on this show, but it genuinely feels like it's getting worse. Like as time has gone on, it's like these guys, and I'm talking about the first unit. The second unit seems to have no issue whatsoever.
Probably they're fairly out there. Yeah,
it's just like this first unit, they all defer to one another, and nobody knows who's supposed to be the guy that's going to bring the puck in. It's like it genuinely,
It's too
when I watch
predictable,
them,
too.
it genuinely looks like they aren't sure what they're going to do, and they kind of just figure it out on the fly in the
Like they
neutral
don't know
zone.
what the game plan is. They're just improvising. It's improv out there. Everybody's
Genuinely.
actors out there, playing a movie or a script or something, and they
Yeah.
didn't memorize their lines. That's what it looks like out there. Just discombobulated. It's like, when was the last time we even scored a power play goal? I'm not sure how it's still top 10 in the league, but it is somehow. The PK, on the other hand, was great. Like, this was definitely a tale of two special
awesome,
teams
yeah.
tonight. PK was 4 for 4 and like basically almost won us this game. And did it. I think all those like power plays the Avs got early in the game too. I kept thinking to myself, the Hawks will hopefully get some back at some point, and they did. Unfortunately, weren't able to take advantage. Man,
Yeah, it was frustrating. We can get into the PK. I don't know.
Ilya Mikheyev, another shorthanded goal. He has 3 in the season, so that's a positive. He has our only 3 shorthanded goals on the year, and I think our PK is still like top 5. It's not. It's around top 5. So that's good. That's a positive takeaway there. Gave us 30 lead there, right? I mean, that gives you momentum. I think for 40 minutes, 2 periods, I thought we showed it. We were the better team. Again, just a third period collapse. Yeah.
I think Vlasic and Murphy are like awesome together on the PK. I feel like they're just so solid. But yeah, I love Mikheyev and Nazar together on the PK is just electric because they're so dangerous as like an offensive threat. Because if you're sleeping, you lose the puck for half a second. These guys are there and they're going the other way. I love seeing them together just because of their speed and the threat they pose. And it was cool to see Oliver Moore too on the PK tonight.
Yes,
Giving him some PK reps. Obviously, was doing that in Minnesota. So I think that's probably going to be a role for him going forward on this team, I'd imagine.
I was saying that too. It's like we gave Rinzel a lot of like special teams work on Sunday. I want to see us do the same for more, and we did, which is good to see. I did like him with Reichel as well. I thought that was a good line tonight. Definitely noticeable. The speed was there. Like what I saw from that. So that was a positive. I thought both Moore and Rinzel had good games as well. Maybe not quite as noticeable as Sunday for Rinzel, but still another strong game. I like the trust they're putting him to man the special teams as well. That's what he's going to be doing.
Yeah, I was a little hesitant today on the show about the line just because I was like, oh my gosh, I could see these guys just getting hemmed into their zone every single time they're out on the ice. But from my recollection, I think it really only happened once. There was one shift where they were out there against the McKinnon line where they were definitely in their own zone for like 45 seconds. But they defended well. They didn't give up any like major opportunity and they got out of it.
They held their own.
But yeah, I agree. It was so fun to watch Reichel on a line with Moore to get like this is the first time.
He's so not used to that, having a player who's around the same speed. I'm like when he does have that, it works out. Like Anthony is a guy we haven't really seen much the last 2 years, but when he has been with Reichel, like that's probably when he's played at his best. So when you have a guy like that with that speed with him, it makes sense. You have guys on this team who could do that too. You have the Frank Nazars and the Ilya Mikheyevs. Like there are speedy guys on this team. We just haven't really utilized them with Reichel for some reason until Oliver Moore showed up. So hopefully I want to see those two together the rest of the year here, right? Let's see them build some chemistry together. Man.
They didn't play like a ton of minutes, but I don't know. I thought Reichel also just looked like more engaged tonight. Mm-hmm. I feel like he was more willing to be into like physical battles along the boards. I thought he was good with his stick. It was honestly positives from that line, and I hope they keep them together here for another game or two and just kind of see what they can create. But yeah, I just think it's crazy that it's taken this long for Lucas Reichel to be moved up off the fourth line, playing with Pat Maroon every single night.
Yeah, Reichel was clearly inspired. He was at the Chicago Bulls game last night with Alex Vlasic. Something for that performance must have just inspired him to step up tonight. I know he didn't show up at the scoreboard, as usual, all Swedish, no finish, but I thought he looked good. Another guy I thought looked good, who I know we glaze every show these days, but I feel like it's going to be inevitable. You probably know who I'm going to talk about here is Frank Nazar. Had an assist tonight on the Mikheyev goal, shorthanded, but he continued to get chances here. Man, though, he had one look there. I believe it was late in the third period. Yeah. The play where Nate just got banged up there, and of course, came back to score the game time goal to send it overtime. He had an opportunity there to kind of seal the deal, finish it off, and wasn't quite able to do it. Wedgwood as usual. I don't know why he always looks like, I think you said it on the live stream, Dominic Hasek against us, but he does. That guy just steps up when he plays us, and unfortunately, I don't know if Frank really got a ton of that look there, but if he's able to put that in, oh damn.
Yeah, he's able to like find himself great opportunities and scoring chances just because of his speed. Like he'll just be so explosive. He'll go from 0 to 60 in half a second. And he catches guys. He's able to get past defenders and behind defenders really easily. And so it's like, yeah, dude. I mean, we say it every single postgame show, but once he gets that finishing touch, I mean, this guy is going to be an absolute weapon because he's able to produce so many chances for himself and his teammates just because of his speed and his vision. And just once he gets that last piece of the puzzle, he's going to be an absolute beast.
Guys, we need to create a CHR drinking game. Take a shot every time we say, once Frick Nazar learns how to finish, he's going to be a dangerous player. Because I think we say it pretty much every show, but it's true. We say it for a reason. When we repeat things on the show, we're doing it because we know it's going to happen. So, yeah, it'll happen. It'll happen for him, right?
Yeah, no, I'm not concerned at all about it. I thought Alex Vlasic tonight was probably him and Mikheyev, I think, probably had the best games for the Hawks, to be honest with you. I thought Vlasic was super noticeable tonight, just defensively, breaking up passes, taking the pucks off guys.
I like Renzel up there with him.
Yeah, I do too. And I think as they have more time together and have more time to gel, and there were like a couple instances where it was like weird passes from one another. They didn't really know exactly where the other one was going to be. Like a pass would come like right behind them, but that stuff's going to go away with time as they have more time to play together. But yeah, I don't know. How did you feel about Vlasic's play tonight, Justin?
I thought he was pretty solid, but really I think the Hawks defenseman who's clearly the best tonight was Connor Murphy. I don't think that's a statement I've ever said on this show. I'm kind of half joking here, but he did have a multi-point effort tonight and a nice goal. I mean, it was a nice setup from Bedard there, and the 1T there, that bomb. I didn't know Connor Murphy had that in him. Only his second goal of the season, but it was a nice one. And I actually thought, no, I'm not really even joking completely. I thought he was pretty noticeable tonight. The one veteran in that decor, right? It's all kids there except for Connor Murphy. It's like Billy Madison out there. But I thought it was a strong game for him. Bedsy had an assist there, but decent game for him. You know, few opportunities in this game where I'm like, shoot the puck, shoot the puck. I'm screaming at my laptop here like I do every game, but otherwise, that was a decent game for him. But yeah, Vlasic as well. Good game for sure. Yeah.
I know we kind of dog on. I mean, we don't dog on Connor Murphy. It's just because he's like older than obviously most of the rest of the team. Yeah. He's the only defenseman left that's above the age of 23 years old. Yeah. But I mean, this is an NHL defenseman. Like whether he's on your third unit or your second unit, whatever it is, he
has value.
He has value, and he's. My thing is like, what's the situation going to be like next year with like you've got like 9 guys that could probably be playing in the NHL. What are you going to do with them? You know?
Yeah, I mean, Murphy has 1 year left on his deal, so I'd imagine he's still going to be here next year, and you probably want at least one veteran back there, man the point. It is a very young decor, right? So he does provide some usefulness there. Also can help mentor these guys, right? Bring them along. But yeah, in terms of the young defenseman, it's going to be quite the carousel. We've already seen it the second half of this season, and that's going to be the situation the entirety of next season, right? So I think right now for those guys, it's like they probably know not all of them are going to get that opportunity or as much of a look. So make your impression now, right? Move up the depth chart now. Now is the time to do it. Yeah.
But I'm almost concerned that like you're going to start making like we talked about it tonight, Justin, on the pregame with Korchinski being out of the lineup. Like that's going to happen every single game next year where it's going to feel like there are guys that are getting scratched that like
who don't deserve it.
Maybe you feel like they've played better than a different guy. And I'm just worried that could end up leading to problems with their development a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you mean, but at the same time, like, I don't know if it's entirely a bad problem to have. Cause it's like if there are guys that are being left out of the lineup because they probably don't deserve it, it means it must be in that entire decor, has been playing pretty good there, right? Guys are stepping up, showing out because they know that, if they make a mistake or if they're not playing at their best, they could be out of the lineup for another guy. So I think healthy competition on the decor is not a bad thing, but I see what you mean, especially for a guy like Korchinski, like sitting in the press box at this stage doesn't really do anything for him. Like he doesn't need to be sitting out games right now. He'd be better off just sticking around at Rockford if that's what they're going to do to him. So I prefer a guy like that to be in the lineup. So I understand what you're saying there. I think it's there's pros and cons to it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like every night next year you're gonna have 3 guys that are sitting out, or or like are you gonna have like Allen in Rockford next year again? Like
what happened to him, man? He's like disappeared the second half of the season.
I don't know. And I thought they were pretty high on him, but I don't know. But like same thing with Crevier, and you mentioned Korchinski. And it's like and then you got Kaiser and Del Mastro there too. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how they manage that. I don't know if we're going to get through this summer, and I could see somebody being dealt. I know we've mentioned Korchinski, but I just like, it's not even necessarily just to make sure we get something back in return or like a forward piece. It's like, you might want to deal one of these guys just so you don't have 9 of them that you're trying to bring up at the exact same time.
Yeah, so I see what you mean there, especially because for a lot of these guys too, it's like, what does Rockford really do for a lot of them? I mean, some of them could use more time there, but like next season, I don't know if that's really going to be the case. Maybe a guy like Allen who spent the entirety of the second half of the season down there, but it's like Korchinski, like if he's on Rockford next season, then that's this mistake. Like he can't be on Rockford next year. He's got to be on the Hawks. And where he's at his development now. And pretty much all those other guys, Crevier or Kaiser's been there, done that. Crevier kind of has too, 2020 draft pick. I mean, he's spent so much time at the Hawks this year. I can't really imagine him being an AHL guy. Del Mastro, 2021 draft pick. He spent some time down there. Rinzel, just the way he's played, I don't think he needs Rockford, period. So it's like these guys are going to be up here. So it's like, are all of them going to be here next year is the question. It is. We'll see about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting thing to follow.
Yeah.
How did you feel about the first line? I thought they were pretty quiet for the first 2 periods. Obviously, they scored the goal.
Yeah.
But besides that, I feel like I didn't notice them a ton. Obviously, Mikheyev was good on the PK, but I don't know. It was a bit of a quiet night. Like I really didn't feel like I noticed Bedard until the second period.
Bedard was decent. I will say it was kind of a rare quiet game for Ryan Donato. He's had the hot stick lately,
true.
right? He's been Mr. Production, and I didn't really notice him at all tonight. Bedard, yeah, I mean, he was finding guys, had the apple there, had his looks, had his moments to maybe break the game open there in overtime, and was able to do it. Like I thought he had some chances, like I said earlier, to fire some on net, but I don't know, for every reason this series been looking off more than he should, which is something he really has to work on. Like I'm gonna be honest about that. Like that is something that does need to change for him. Like line mates won't really solve that completely, so he does need to take more of a shot first mentality. But no, otherwise that was a decent game for him. But yeah, first line probably wasn't the Hawks' best tonight. Yeah.
Dude, Bedard passed up on like 4 shots tonight.
Yeah,
he always does that thing where he like does the little toe drag, and sometimes he shoots it, and then sometimes he kind of turns it into a pass. He did that like 3 or 4 times where he like does the toe drag, but then he didn't do anything with the puck, and he kind of just kept it. And it's like, dude, just shoot half of those for me, but just release half of them. And just maybe you get a little more space when you do it next time. Because it's like guys are like not falling for it as much. Like he's not getting a whole lot of movement from defensemen in front of him because they're like, dude, you didn't shoot the past 3. Are you going to do it now?
There was even a moment on that power play in the game where like he had this golden opportunity to shoot the puck, made that toe drag move, was net front, opted the pass. So like there's the UC literally groaned, and I groaned too over here, where it's like even I couldn't defend that. But it's weird too because this wasn't a problem last season. Like he shot the puck a ton last year, averaged over 200 shots. More and less games played. So I don't really understand why this year that's been more of an issue. But again, I don't know if it's a reason to panic. I'm sure he'll figure it out. And again, I think, they'll help to have better players around him. But at the same time, it's like eventually kind of got, that's more of a him problem at the moment, right? I think it's something he's kind of got to snap out of and, just be more selfish.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Tassos, do you have anything to weigh in on that? Just like...
Dude, I need to go on vocal rest from the amount of podcasting we've been doing. I need to take a break. I don't know, man.
Just Bedard, like
he looked good. He looked fine. He looked like how Bedard's looked the last month.
Yeah, he was good tonight. Like, wasn't his best, wasn't his worst. Like, I don't think he's really like topic of. But it's Bedard. Of course, we're always going to talk about him, right? But yeah, thought he was all right tonight. Yeah.
I thought Bertuzzi sucked tonight.
Do you think
Shocker.
we're gonna see? Do you think we're gonna see like a crazy good performance out of Connor Bedard before the end of the year? Like,
you would like to see it.
Like, wow, like just thoroughly impressed.
I will say, like, I hate to say this, but it's like there hasn't really been a ton of games this year where it's like, oh yeah, Bedard was the best player on the ice or one of the best players on the ice. Like he'll have his solid games here and there. He'll get his cookies. But it's like there haven't really been enough games where it's like for 60 minutes, like he was every single shift, was one of the best out there. I would like to see a game like that at some point. We still have 7 left here, so we'll see. I'd like to see it, but honestly, I think he just needs an off-season reset. Like, I don't think this is a, reason to worry or anything. I think he just needs a break. I think this season just needs to end and, go in the next season, for reset, for better lineup, off things to work out in the off-season and come back refreshed, I think all things considered, the fact that we're having this type of dialogue and he's still, tied for the team lead, 59 points at Donato, like, if this is the worst we're going to see out Bedard and he's still, our best guy, then I think, at 19 years old in this shitty Hawks team that's 31st in the NHL that hasn't really seen any improvement from last season, then I think we're going to be okay in the long run. So, just to, remind people.
No, I agree with you. Tassos and I actually literally had the conversation in between the live stream and the post game just like a few minutes ago. Tassos kind of just brought up, like, what if he has a season like identical to this next year?
I don't think so.
Well, even if he does, like, obviously there's going to be a ton of chatter if he does.
Yeah. It's already been enough this season.
But like, I don't know. I just don't worry about it that much with him. The thing that I want to see now is, like, I don't care about production. I just want him to be more assertive than he is. Like, I want him to be more decisive when he has the puck. It just feels like sometimes, and I'm not even trying to be critical. It's just sometimes he's, I don't know what's like the right word for it. Overthinking it, or sometimes just like a little lackadaisical, where it's like, I would love for him to just be like, every once in a while he gets the puck, he's like, you know what, I'm taking this myself and I'm gonna go rip it. Like, you don't really see that from him. You don't see him get pissed off and be like, I'm taking this myself. Whereas like Nate McKinnon, we saw him tonight fucking slamming his stick.
He took it
in the
personally,
bench,
man.
and then he gets the puck next time he's out on the ice and he's just barreling towards the net. Like, that's the kind of stuff I want to see from Connor Bedard now. That, like, I'm not worried about what type of player he's going to turn into at all, or like the amount of points he's going to be able to produce, anything like that. Like, I think he's going to be a superstar. I just want him to, like, I want to see that dog come out a little bit, and just be decisive and go for it himself.
Yeah, he's got to find that Nate dog in him. Yeah, I think it's in him. I think he's shown it in spurts, but just got to see it more consistently here, right? Take things personally. Yeah. Play pissed off. I like that. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I also think that he's going to end up being a winger. I was talking about it on the live stream tonight.
I don't hate it. Like, I don't hate it. Other people think but it's like, look, we have so many centers in the system. You brought up on the show today. It's like, what's the issue if Bedard's a winger? I look at him like he reminds me of Patrick Kane, like the way he plays. Like, he might be more of a Kane or an Austin Matthews when he starts shooting the puck, when he's got Martyr at his wing, right? I'm trying to speak in existence every show, right? I think that's going to help out a ton too. I'll probably start using his shot more, and all these talks so suddenly will evaporate, right? But we got to get to that point. But yeah, I think just, the wing spot too will just kind of allow him to not worry about the defensive zone too much and just kind of unleash himself there, less to worry about, less responsibilities. I think that could do wonders for him, right? We have guys here like Frank Nazar who could play that role. I think he's shown it too. He could be the 1C. Why not? What's the issue here? We might be getting Misa too. Boom. Like, we're gonna have Boisvert more. Like, there's centers everywhere, man. Like,
there are.
Why does Bedard need to be the 1C?
There's like
Why?
7 of them, dude. We've got like 7 in the system.
I think he's played the games he's been on the wing have been probably his best games this season. So it's like, if he's a winger, who cares? Like, if he's let him be Patrick Kane. Like, what are we doing here? Like, he doesn't need to be tased.
I do like that they had him. I said it on the stream right when it happened too. I like that they put him out there to take the draw on that defensive zone draw with like 19
that worked
seconds
out well.
And it worked out horribly, and they obviously scored.
What were you thinking there? Like, what's his percentage?
Like, I mean, it's the same thing as like if you were to throw more out in the shootout there. It's like, that's what you're thinking. It's the season's over already. Put this guy who you want to be your future stud 1C out for the big draw. I like it. I like the decision there. I completely back it. Bedard's just you can't blame the coach for that. You can't blame the coach for putting this guy out to take the draw.
I thought we were just saying it doesn't have to be a center, and now it's like, oh, no, he's got to take this draw with 19 seconds left when he has a 38% face-off percentage in the dying moments of the game. Like, what? Just put somebody else. I don't understand what
I hear what you're saying. I'm more about the mentality there of
like
you're putting him in the situation, like, better
that he's going to be in.
Yeah, give him the reps. Like, even if he doesn't end up being a center, he's going to take important draws throughout his career. you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And we just got slot in sometimes when the refs, take their sweet time dropping the puck.
yeah,
And
Jesus, it happened like 3 times tonight. These fucking
Yeah, no.
stripes with that shit, man. It drives me crazy.
To transition a little bit, because I don't really think we've talked about him too much tonight.
Go ahead.
I thought
Yep.
Spencer Knight had a really nice night. I would have been nice to get him to win. I thought that shutout wasn't that far away, man. He was, 10 minutes away or something less than that. And then unfortunately we lose the game. But I thought this was his best game in a while. Like, he went through a bit of a rough patch there. I know you lose the game, but I thought he was one of the bright spots of the Hawks. 29 saves and 31 shots. No, he did everything he could tonight. I thought it was a strong performance. So that's what we want to see. Get that confidence back. Wish we could have won this one for him, because I think he deserved a W. But yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think he did everything he could possibly have to, win this game for the Blackhawks.
Yeah.
I thought his rebound control was excellent. He wasn't really giving up anything. He had everything covered. He looked solid on the McKinnon tried to get him a couple of times on the near post. He had it covered. So yeah, really, really solid game from him. And dude, that last goal, I mean, that sucks. He has no chance. It got tipped 3 times before it got to him. I feel bad for him. And that's kind of what Andy brought up on the podcast today is there's going to be a lot of these games next year where Spencer Knight is going to play out of his head and the Hawks are going to lose. And hopefully that doesn't mess with his mental too much, because that is going to happen. Hopefully he understands what's going on here and with this rebuild and what the future can hold, and hopefully he doesn't lose sight of that and gets too affected by a result like this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's almost, in a way, it's almost a necessary evil to go through, right? Where it's these moments will build him, right? These are the moments where you show who the true gamers are, right? In these tough situations. So, the best goaltender is able to occasionally, win a game for you, right? I think Spencer and I will be able to show that. He's shown it already a couple times, so I'm sure he will next season too.
Yeah, dude, we were a few minutes. We were seconds away tonight from tonight being one of those games that Spencer Knight won you. And
it gets the Colorado Avalanche. This has been one of the hottest teams in the league lately.
Yeah,
they're a Stanley Cup favorite. That doesn't mean nothing for a very young Hawk squad. So it's look, it sucks to lose the game the way you do and the fastest you do tonight, but I still think there are more positives than negatives to take away from this game. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. Anything else, boys?
Nothing.
I'm
It's
fucking
late. I'm ready for bed.
exhausted, dude.
I think, that's one last topic there. It's just how fucking late this game was.
Oh, yeah. Good.
A 9:52
What a
Eastern time puck drop. What are we doing here? At Chicago, these TNT 20-minute delays too. It's gee, I don't know what's going on over there, but unfortunate for sure.
Yeah, they gotta figure that out. You can't I understand the TNT broadcast thing. You got to get 2 games in. It's got to be a West Coast game. You can't have an East Coast game and then a fucking Central. It's just, it screws. We don't even have, we've got it. It sucks. It sucks for us. None of us want to still be doing this. We're fucking exhausted. Justin, it's 1:30 where you're at. Bro, think about all the people working at the stadium and stuff that have that it gets pushed back.
The ticket people
and breaking down, tearing down the if
cleaning up
the
the
Bulls
seats
play
and all
tomorrow,
that.
they've got to go through dude, oh my gosh, man.
Painful for them too. You guys ready? The Hawks' next game is Friday. Alex Ovechkin is within 3. Are you guys ready for him to drop the hat trick and break the goals record Friday? I know I'm ready for it. Are you guys ready?
Dude, I said it. I don't know if you were watching at the time, but I said you've been weirdly manifesting Ovi to break the record.
I'm telling you, it's going to happen. Look, everything we've seen this season, is it going to surprise you when it happens?
No.
At this point, no.
No. If you end up being right, I think you deserve something.
I agree. Yeah. Couldn't agree more.
I agree. That's hilarious.
That's all I got. Yeah, I've exhausted all my options here.
Yeah, thanks everyone so much for hanging out with us. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not yet. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Like and give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Show on Friday. You guys are gonna be doing that post game because I'm unfortunately working.
You're gonna miss history, man.
Did I miss anything, Sos?
No, that's it.
Perfect.
Let's get out of here.
All right. Good night, everybody.
See everybody Friday.